one of the things, Raquel, that I think is very valuable is the ability for external and internal communications to come around, because a lot of times, a lot of the external stuff, like one of the slides you showed earlier where they did all of that work and put it out onto their social channel, a lot of the external communications can be used for internal, and internal can be used for external as well. So I think that that cohesive thought process is a very important piece of the overall process.
Great point. I think a lot of people may think, okay, I have to have separate communications or I have to reinvent the wheel. But most of the time, that's really not the case. Like you said, you can reuse or repurpose content that was maybe an internal memo. You want to share what your new cleaning process is, create like a really aesthetically great post around that. So it's all about information sharing, and you within a franchise organization, you get that information, at top down as well as from your local governments. So it's a really great point that you don't have to always think of like a picture perfect image. It's just sharing things that you may already have in your wheelhouse. To wrap up, I think we can just give a little bit of a summary of what we really discussed thus far, which is going between internal and external communication. Being from Pomo Republic and focusing on the external side, I do just want to hit home our key points on external communication: to continuously have your content updated on a regular basis. You need to still maintain that posting cadence that you had before COVID happened, or even that you increased during COVID, because now, as discussed today, we're all looking for information from all angles to stay informed and to hopefully slowly and surely reapproach society. The second, just like Dan actually just mentioned, is emphasize your concern for like the safety and what you're doing, what your processes are. This could be as easy as Dan mentioned, as sharing your internal information and repurposing it, obviously for consumer facing, and that obviously ties directly into leveraging the different types of content. We saw some really great examples today. Some were just really quick photos taken, some were written out posts on the processes, others were just stylized images. So it's whatever holistic approach you want to take, but make sure it's varied, and more importantly, that it's brand consistent for all locations. I think the risk with a franchise and putting more leverage in the franchisee's hand, or maybe not the risk, but the fear, is that it's not going to be branded. But through Pomo Republic and education, branding is the utmost important, especially as a franchise, because you're buying into that business. So making sure that everything you're creating is still reflective of the franchisor and the hard work that they put into creating the brand. And internal communication is just the same, right, Dan?
Absolutely. And to kind of take that now to, the internal thought processes is that, just like external, it's not a one-way communication. It's a two-way street. So one of the things that our clients use all the time is this ability to create this feedback from employees. Again, we're in this process right now that's unprecedented times, but reality, it really is. So we need to keep that level of communication open. So constantly collecting and analyzing the feedback we get from the field, and then how can we use that in in updating training and making those processes better. One of the other best practices that customers come back to us is that bring physical prizes into some of their gamification initiatives, which is kind of, it seems kind of like, basic stuff, but actually what we found was that by bringing in just even small little bit of prizes helps them, of course, want to drive and reach those higher levels and get those prizes. But the actions and the training that are done in the interim of them getting to that ultimately makes them a better employee, a better brand representative throughout that process. Next, of course, is leadership support. that becomes very critical, especially in in multi-unit organizations, or franchisor that's mainly made up of multi-unit franchisees. We have to get a lot of buy-in from the field to make things really happen. So we want to make sure we go about getting the proper support from leadership, and get those training tools out there into the hands of the field so that they can see how this is really going to impact stuff. Ultimately, of course, as we all know, make it accessible anytime on any device. This is we won't get into legal conversations here, but this is the good thing here about this thought process and the introduction of gamification. It does open up an opportunity to possibly allow people to do training in off hours by being involved in a game approach. So it's an at-will gamified training, for a lack of a better word. So again, making the content available on any device, anytime, one of our customers' best practices as well.